going, well, if Hamas released the hostages, it would save everything, is wrong. The only answer to this situation is massive, massive pressure on Israel. But that's not what Ethan wants. Ethan is planning on taking a trip to Israel to show you its real side. But what real side is there to Israel when it is a country that is openly planning to perpetrate the greatest crime of the 21st century? You can say, oh, I don't like Netanyahu, I don't like this, I don't like that. It won't change anything. The Israeli military that you are proud of your wife serving in is going to expel millions of Palestinians from Gaza. Then it will turn on the West Bank. Then it will turn on Palestinians inside Israel proper. And you want to go and show your supporters this wonderful side to it. It is one of the most obscene and shocking things that
zone of interest, straight up,
has come out of Ethan Klein's mouth over the last year and a half. Because it is not only that as he goes, Israel will be implementing its plan to expel 2 million people, it is also that what he loves and enjoys about Israel is inextricably linked from the dispossession, marginalization and extermination of the Palestinian people historically, the Nakba, the consistent displacement of Palestinians. But it is also linked to the fact that only a few hundred miles away, if even that, in the West Bank, Palestinians will be being expelled. Communities will be being wiped away. There will be violent pogroms against Palestinians. And Ethan is just going to ignore it. He will not care because he wants to show you the real side. But the two are inextricably linked. So Ethan Klein is a confused Zionist who wishes to disavow the most extreme and unacceptable aspects of Israel's genocidal violence against Palestinians. But he cannot abandon his Zionism. He is unwilling to see that Hamas, far from being the sickness, is but a symptom of Israeli settler colonialism, the true sickness that plagues Palestine. From its very inception, Zionism was rejected and resisted by the indigenous Palestinian people. They never wanted to give Palestine away to colonizers who came with the explicit goal of marginalizing the population of Palestine, destroying their alternative mode of existence, and eliminating their cultural and historical contributions to the land of Palestine. And so until Ethan can see that there is no Zionism without the Nakba, without the current expulsion of Palestinians, without the settlement in the West Bank, this man will remain forever a confused Zionist who will continue to aid and abet Israel's extermination of the Palestinian people.
Yeah. That's all I got for today, folks. I am gonna be on one of the Nelk Boys' podcast. I was offered a platform to preach the gospel.
Duke crash in the rain, nigga. I'm KC, nigga. I'm not Duke.
Refresh your energy with zero sugar, essential vitamins, and proven ingredients. Celsius. Live fit.
I'm pretty sure I came up here because isn't this where the key was? Oh no. Bro, what the fuck am I doing? No one saw that, right? Yeah, I came up here, didn't I? Yeah, I came up here. Oh, there's more! Oh, that guy just killed himself. Okay. Ow. Alright, my search for Pate begins. wins now. I will find him. That backstabbing bitch. I never bothered checking what the flame butterflies do. For all I know, they're super useful. Okay, there's a bridge there. Dang, lots of different ways to go from here. Go all the way down first. What was that? Did y'all see that ghost? The corpse vanished. Wait. What? How? Oh, okay. I did not see that. I understand everything now.
In a world where ideas collide and the search for meaning never ends, one man has emerged as a guiding force in the complex landscape of the human mind. This is the story of Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, a Canadian professor, psychologist, and best-selling author whose journey transcends the boundaries of academia and spills into the hearts and minds of people around the globe. Born on a crisp day in Alberta, Canada, Peterson's intellectual curiosity and passion for understanding the intricacies of human existence started at a young age. As he navigated the corridors of academia, his quest for meaning led him to profound insights that would later captivate the world. From the hallowed halls of Harvard to the forefront of public discourse, Peterson's rise to prominence was not just about academic accolades. It was about challenging conventional wisdom, exploring the depths of the human psyche, and offering a lifeline to those seeking order in the chaos of modern life. But his journey wasn't without controversy. As he became a lightning rod for debates on free speech, political correctness, and the nature of truth, Peterson found himself at the epicenter of a cultural storm that tested the limits of intellectual discourse, yet Behind the public persona lies a man whose own battles and triumphs shaped his understanding of life's complexities. Join us as we unravel the layers of Jordan Peterson's life, a life that mirrors the struggles, the triumphs, and the eternal quest for meaning that unites us all. This is Jordan Peterson, the man behind the ideas, a biography exploration. Welcome to the journey. Early life and education, 1962-1993. Jordan Burnt Peterson was born on June 12, 1962, in Fairview, a small town in Alberta, Canada. Growing up in the northern reaches of the province, Peterson experienced the vastness and ruggedness of the Canadian landscape, which would later influence his thinking and writing. Raised in a family that valued education, he developed an early interest in literature, mythology, and religious stories. Peterson's academic journey began at the University of Alberta, where he pursued a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science. During this time, he grappled with existential questions and explored various philosophical and political ideologies. This period of intellectual exploration laid the groundwork for his future interdisciplinary approach, bridging psychology, philosophy, and political theory. His passion for understanding human behavior led him to shift his focus to psychology. Peterson continued his studies at the University of Alberta, earning a degree in psychology. Intrigued by the complex interplay between psychology and belief systems, he decided to pursue a PhD at Queen's University, delving into the psychology of religious and ideological belief. This academic pursuit marked the beginning of his deep exploration into the motivations and dynamics that underlie human thought and behavior. After completing his PhD, Peterson embarked on his academic career, initially teaching at Harvard University before returning to Canada. This early stage in his career laid the foundation for the later fusion of his academic expertise with a growing public presence. As he navigated the academic landscape, Peterson's interest in the profound connections between individual psychology and broader societal structures continued to evolve, setting the stage for his influential contributions
Boludo,
to both
esa entrada no puede ser, man.
and the public sphere. Academic career and research, 1994 to 2012. Following the completion of his PhD, Jordan Peterson began his academic career with a position at Harvard University. This early experience in one of the world's most prestigious academic institutions allowed him to engage with diverse intellectual currents and refine his interdisciplinary approach to psychology and belief systems. In 1998, Peterson returned to Canada and joined the faculty of the University of Toronto. Throughout the late 90s and into the 2000s, he continued to build a reputation as a formidable scholar in psychology, focusing particularly on the intersection of religious belief, ideology, and individual psychology. His research delved into the cognitive and emotional processes that underlie religious experiences, exploring how belief systems shape perceptions of the world.
Have you heard of this elusive frequency which, when activated, our brains have the ability to function at higher levels?
Peterson's work during this period resulted in numerous academic publications, contributing to the understanding of religious and ideological belief from a psychological perspective. His research touched on topics such as the psychology of religious conversion, the role of myth in shaping human cognition, and the evolutionary roots of religious behavior. As he delved into these complex topics, Peterson's commitment to academic rigor and intellectual exploration remained unwavering. He became known for his ability to synthesize ideas from various disciplines, bringing together psychology, neuroscience, and religious studies in a unique and insightful manner. Beyond his research, Peterson dedicated himself to teaching, earning a reputation as a passionate and engaging educator. His courses, which often explored the intersection of psychology and belief, attracted students eager to explore the profound questions that lie at the heart of human existence. Throughout this period, Peterson's academic journey was marked by a commitment to the pursuit of knowledge and a determination to understand the deep psychological and philosophical currents that shape human behavior. Little did he know that his academic pursuits would soon catapult him into the realm of public intellectualism and make him a household name far beyond the confines of the academic world. Rise to public recognition, 2013-2016. The years 2013 to 2016 marked a significant turning point in Jordan Peterson's career as he transitioned from a respected academic to a public intellectual with global influence. This transformation was fueled by his vocal opposition to compelled speech legislation in Canada, particularly Bill C-16, which proposed amending the Canadian Human Rights Act to include gender identity or expression as a prohibited ground for discrimination. Peterson's critique of the bill centered on concerns about free speech and compelled language use. He argued that the legislation could compel individuals to use specific gender pronouns, potentially infringing upon freedom of expression. His principled stand against what he saw as compelled speech, even if well-intentioned, resonated with a growing number of people who shared concerns about the impact on free expression. The controversy surrounding Peterson's opposition to Bill C-16 thrust him into the spotlight, and he began to garner significant attention in media outlets and online platforms. His lectures, particularly the Professor Against Political Correctness series on YouTube, gained millions of views, and he quickly became a figurehead for those critical of what they perceived as an encroachment on free speech rights. Despite the controversies and the often intense public scrutiny, Peterson's ideas continued to evolve. He maintained that his primary concern was the potential infringement on free speech rights, emphasizing the importance of open dialogue and the free exchange of ideas. This period set the stage for his later forays into writing and public speaking, establishing him as a prominent and polarizing figure in the realm of public intellectualism. Maps of Meaning, 12 Rules and Beyond, 2017 present. The years from 2017 onward have seen Jordan Peterson's influence expand exponentially, transcending academia and reaching a global audience. Central to this rise has been the release of his book Maps of Meaning, The Architecture of Belief, which was initially published in 1999 but gained renewed attention as his public profile soared. The book delves into the intricate relationship between belief systems, mythology, and the human psyche, reflecting Peterson's interdisciplinary approach. However, it was his self-help book, 12 Rules for Life, An Antidote to Chaos, published in 2018, that propelled Peterson to unprecedented levels of fame. In this work, Peterson synthesizes his psychological insights with practical advice, offering readers a set of principles to navigate the complexities of modern life. The book became a bestseller, resonating with a diverse audience seeking guidance on personal responsibility, meaning, and the challenges of contemporary society. 12 Rules for Life catapulted Peterson into the mainstream, making him a household name. His lectures and interviews continued to draw massive online audiences, further solidifying his status as a public intellectual. Peterson's appeal lies not only in the content of his ideas, but also in his ability to articulate complex concepts in a relatable and accessible manner. Despite his success, Peterson faced personal challenges. Health issues, including a severe reaction to medication, temporarily sidelined him from public life. This period of adversity, however, only seemed to deepen his reflections on the nature of suffering, resilience, and the pursuit of meaning, themes that had long been central to his work. Peterson's impact extended beyond the realm of literature and online content. His speaking engagements around the world attracted diverse audiences eager to engage with his ideas on individual responsibility, the role of tradition, and the search for purpose. His conversations with prominent figures, debates with ideological opponents, and appearances on popular podcasts further expanded his reach and influence. As of the present, Jordan Peterson remains an influential and controversial figure. His ideas continue to shape discussions on psychology, philosophy, and contemporary social issues. Whether celebrated for his defense of free speech and individual responsibility or critiqued for his views on various topics, Peterson undeniably occupies a unique space in the public discourse, and his impact on intellectual and cultural conversations is likely to endure. Through the lens of this documentary, we've witnessed a man who dared to explore the uncharted territories of the mind, confronting chaos with courage and embracing order with wisdom. Jordan Peterson's story is more than a biography. It's a testament to the enduring power of ideas to shape our understanding of the world and ourselves. Whether you agree or disagree with his perspectives, one cannot deny the impact he has had on countless lives. His teachings have become a source of inspiration, sparking introspection and inviting us to grapple with the fundamental questions that define our existence. In his own words, Peterson often speaks of the responsibility we have to shoulder the burdens of life, to speak the truth, and to strive for a meaningful existence. It's a call to action that transcends the individual, resonating with a universal yearning for purpose and order. As we bid farewell to this exploration of Jordan Peterson's life, let us carry forward the lessons learned, the questions posed, and the conversations ignited. May we, like Peterson, continue our pursuit of understanding in a world that constantly challenges our perceptions. Thank you for joining us on this journey. The story of Jordan Peterson is ongoing, and the dialogue he has sparked will endure, guiding us beyond the archetype into the unexplored realms of thought and meaning.
Have you ever seen people flipping houses and say, man, I wish I could make money like them? They've got dumpsters there, they've got contractors going in and out, but you don't know how to flip a house. Well, guess what? You can make more money than a fix and flipper on their own house. Check it out. If you brought money to that fix and flipper, they need pay for construction, buy the house, all of those types of things. If you brought money to their transaction, you could actually make more money than the flipper themselves by the amount of work you're putting in versus how much they're putting in themselves. Well, you might ask, well, Pace, I don't have money. I don't have the money. Well, here's what's cool. I created this thing called the Gator Method, where you can take my money. I will fund any deal that you find that is funding somebody else, and you can make a fee for using my money on somebody else's transaction. Here's what's cool about it. You don't have to do any cold calls, fixing and flipping, dumpsters, owning anything, and you don't even have to use your own money. You can use my money. I want to show you how to find these types of opportunities and use my money so we can make
The Canadian psychology professor is somebody people love or love to hate.
Despite what you think about him, there is no denying the professor's impact.
He's undeniably one of the greatest intellectual phenomenons on the planet right now.
People were coming up to me and saying, This book saved my life.
He is the ultimate father figure.
I've spent so much time in the dark. It's not easy to find. I don't have so much heroes, but people that can be so helpful.
So you're anti-justice. Are you a Batman villain?
I watched the Professor Against Political Correctness video, and I was just so disappointed, I guess.
His thoughts aren't quick. They're long and drawn out, and they're a story. Everything he says is a story, so you have to be there for the whole story to find out what is there at the end.
Man does not live by bread alone, right? And the spiritual bread, that's the story.
If you're going to have these millions of people who are listening to everything you say, I think that you have to take some responsibility to help them understand what you mean.
So this is what I actually look like, and then this is what people who don't like me think I look like.
Which one is real?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I would say it as though it's real.
That's when he started to play the piano as opposed to playing the guitar.
And he didn't send it before he left.
You
It's 1 to 5?
Yes. Strongly agree is 5. Strongly disagree is 1. Okay.
Okay.
Seldom feel blue.
See, that's the kind of question I don't know how to answer because
Just
normally
guess, and then Mom and I will tell you if you're off.
5 is strongly agree.
Yeah.
4.
Avoid philosophical discussions.
1.
Change my mood a lot.
He's Gemini.
I don't know. That's another one that's tough for me.
What would you say?
I'd say 1, but that's
He
wrong.
changes his mood often, I'd say.
Yeah, probably 4.
You know, he can be deeply immersed on the telephone, and then all of a sudden he can say, "Where's my wallet?"
Okay, 5.
And then get out on the street and complain about the car.
Keep my emotions under control.
3.
Okay.
No way, that's
Is that actually
come
what
on,
you
Joy,
think, though?
really?
You have no idea how irritated I actually am.
That's not the question.
1,
Are you
apparently.
yelling at a computer?
Yeah.
I rarely feel depressed.
Well, when I'm not depressed, I don't feel depressed at all. But when I'm depressed, I feel depressed. That's another one I don't know how to answer.
Love a good fight?
You mean an argument?
Yeah, conflict. You love them more than me. They agitate the hell out of me, but I won't back away from one. 3.
Hard to get to know.
3.
You went on TV talking about... What was the
Well,
question?
that's different.
What was the question? No, really? What was it? Hard to get to know.
That's so different.
Hard to get to know. Know how to captivate.
5.
Get deeply immersed in music.
5.
Think quickly.
5.
I'm not easily annoyed.
1. Thanks, Mom.
Seek conflict.
Seek it. When you're speaking about existential personality theory, it's important to place the individual in a broader context. Jung famously claimed that people didn't have ideas, that ideas had people.
Politics was really something that had always been at the base of what he was worried about. But why do people fight wars, and why are people willing to sacrifice themselves
I've been studying authoritarianism for a very long time. It's been my life's work to inoculate people against ideological possession. It's the lesson that I try to teach people in the Absent Naming course. And then I've been keeping an eye on what's been going on with political correctness since the 1990s, when I was I taught at Harvard for 7 years. And there was a big resurgence of political correctness in the 1990s. But it sort of died off. But then something changed about 5 or 6 years ago. I noticed it. The speech codes and the sexual harassment codes and the idea of rape culture, and my graduate students' comments that they're nervous about teaching anything that has to do with gender or biology of gender because they're afraid of the potential kickback from students or afraid of speaking out in public about their research on political psychology and personality. It's just an endless array of details indicating that the requirement to speak in the politically correct manner is becoming overwhelming. It just so happened that it was the trans pronoun issue that brought in this restrictive legislation that had forced speech content, which I think is a very bad idea in principle. Very, very dangerous idea.
Oof. Yeah.
...2016. Professor.
I've entitled this talk, Professor Against Political Correctness. There are continually things happening in the universities and in the broader political world that make me very nervous. It's becoming increasingly difficult for professors and students to even say what they think. And I think that some of the things that I say in my lectures now might be sufficient for me to be brought before the Ontario Human Rights Commission under their amended hate speech laws. And that scares me as well. And it scares me that I think that because it sounds paranoid. And there was a first reading of legislation in the Federal House in Canada about a bill called C-16.
And I'm very proud that on May the 17th, we introduced Bill C-16, an act to amend the Canadian Human Rights Act and the Criminal Code. The bill addresses a fundamental issue of equality and human rights, the discrimination and hate crimes experienced by trans and gender diverse Canadians.
Definition of discrimination and harassment. Now, these are truly terrifying. Discrimination happens when a person experiences negative treatment or impact, intentional or not. Intent matters. This is a painful thing that human beings have learned. It's at the base of our modern legal systems. If I accidentally run into you, that's way different than if I run into you on purpose. And so this policy is designed to reverse that. So this is the scenario I've been running through my head. I can envision a student or a colleague insisting that I call them using gender-neutral pronouns. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I don't recognize another person's right to determine what pronouns I use to address them. I won't do.
You see that building the size of several football fields just behind me? What's happening to it?
Now, my decision might be illegal, and maybe it's even a decision of hate, but I'm not doing it.
I watched the video and then was in danger of vomiting all over my keyboard. I started tweeting about it, and I made a number of comments basically calling out Peterson for being transphobic. But I just sort of felt that I could speak perhaps to having a little bit of lived experience as a non-binary and a trans person on campus, and I wanted to try to stick up for students who felt under fire from Peterson's remarks. I wrote to someone in the administration and asking, gosh, what are we going to do about this? And it sort of snowballed from there.
Why are you against the use of alternate pronouns?
I'm against the use of legislation to determine what words are that myself and other people are required to utter.
Bill C-16 is actually not about cisgender people. It's about protections for transgender people. Peterson frames this as a free speech issue. Just because you can't speak exactly what you want to say, when you want to say it, where you want to say it, doesn't mean you get to throw a big tantrum.
You've accused him of abusing students by not using the pronouns they want to be addressed by.
That's how I see it, absolutely.
That is tantamount to abuse in your view.
Absolutely. Many global documents, many organizations.
Is it tantamount to violence?
Yes.
How about hate speech? Is it tantamount to hate speech?
Yes, of course. It's hate speech to tell someone that you won't refer to them.
One of the things that I studied, for example, with regards to the way events went during the Holocaust was that we went this far. So, okay, no problem. Then we went this far. That was okay, no problem. It's like, that's okay. It's okay. We can do that. We can go that one step further. So, and the funny thing, too, is if you draw a line in the sand, which is what I did, all hell breaks loose. Because, well, why did you draw it there? That's arbitrary. It's like, yeah, there's an element of arbitrariness to it. That's why people won't draw the line, because they don't want to take the heat for the arbitrary element, the arbitrary nature of the act. Because whatever people happen to be directly affected by that arbitrary line, they come out and say, well, you're a horrible person. Yeah, well, no, but I get your point. There's a demonstration plan for tomorrow. They call it a rally and teach-in. So I'm going to have to make this very straightforward and simple. I don't disbelieve in the existence of non-binary people. Okay, do you want me to say that again? Obviously, people who don't fit into standard binary categories of sexual identity, however you decide to construe that, broadly or narrowly, obviously those people exist. I never said they didn't exist, so if you're going out tomorrow to this demonstration because you want to indicate your discomfort with my disbelief in the very existence of non-binary people, you might as well just stay home.
Everyone who is here who has seen the Peterson video, I want you to raise your hand if this is the very first time that you've ever heard anything like what he's saying.
We had created what should have been a historical event. It may have been the only gathering of that type in Canadian history, of trans people in a public space gathering in a large number to go up to an open microphone and announce publicly their experiences. I don't think that's ever happened. And that was a huge deal to us when we put that on.
We are here today to call out Jordan B. Peterson. He feels that he has the authority to dictate the gender identities of his students, which we are here to say that he does not.
Using preferred pronouns, I don't think is a debate. It's just being respectful.
I attempted to kill myself 3 times last year. The result of the anxiety that comes from when you just decide to be in transition. It leads you to do things, horrible things.
We also told media not to film trans people without their consent. The media was all very responsible with that and respected our wishes, but Rebel Media wouldn't. And they kept shoving their cameras in people's faces.
Actually, I'm talking to people because I want to know whether they want a man to be fired. I want to know about Bill C-16. I want to know what they think about campus freedom. Everyone here can give their opinion on whether they think this is a campus with free speech. Anyone of any skin color or gender can give that opinion.
Or the Lauren Southern thing was basic definition of trans people being talked over. She had just legally changed her sex marker as some sort of anti-trans publicity stunt a few days before.
One more thing, for purposes of this identification, I would like to be identified as male. I brought in all of the proper documents.
Watch what eggs do to your brain. Take a look at these 2 brain scans. They both look young, strong.
I honestly didn't expect it to be that easy.
The people who were there were raw that day, you know what I mean? Everyone who attended that rally was putting themselves in a very vulnerable position, and it was really just being spat on.
Yeah. Yes. I think people also have to start pushing back and saying, when they hear this constant noise about what group identity you belong to, and to make that the cardinal element of their identity, it's appalling. Okay, well, it was really good talking to you guys. Okay, good. Yep. Bye. Who was that?
We're recording? So anything I say now, you can put out in a tweet and ruin my career. Exactly. All right. I'm going to be mindful of you, Marxists. I was one of Jordan's students when I was an undergrad at Harvard. He could be a pretty intimidating professor, but he was beloved.
So the aspect of people that's divine, theoretically, is the part that stands on the border between the unknown and the known. And it moves information from unexplored territory into explored territory. Expanding the dominion of the group. That's okay. Who's this?
one of the things I remember is that if any student had an objection to something, if it was clear it was from an ideological angle, whether left or right, he would just sort of scissor it. Like if you're going to ask something disingenuously that part of what you're asking is to get information or make a power play in the phrasing of the question, that's not going to be tolerated in the kind of discourse of a classroom.
For me, ideologies are the expression, in a sense, the verbal expression of the internal structures that regulate our emotions.
Jordan and I have been in touch sort of increasingly as our lives have gone on.
Actually, I think that was really worrying me, I guess I would say, because the last thing I want to do, well, I don't know if it's the last thing, but I don't want to get into political arguments, and I don't want to get stuck in a, yeah, well, I think you kind of lose every time you engage in a political argument. The people that are putting the argument forward are possessed by one ideology, and when you discuss it in ideological terms and oppose it, that means you're immediately possessed by the opposing ideology. I don't want to be the mouthpiece of the opposite to neo-Marxism. That's all. Could be catastrophic for me. I don't even know where I'm supposed to meet people.
What you had to say was definitely needed. I think.
Glad to hear it.
I think there needs to be an open dialogue. But
God.
Pleasure to finally meet you.
How are you doing?
I'm very good. I look forward to hearing you speak.
Your video about your ID switch there got a lot of attention, eh?
Yeah, about 200,000. The one covering the protest against you got over 100,000.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know if you saw it. They weren't allowed.
You made quite a splash with your video, your YouTube channel. When did you start it?
Rebel? Esther Bond started it about a year ago.
A year?
Yeah, a year ago.
Yeah.
I joined full-time a couple months ago.
It's funny that they're like, you already talked to white straight guys and then they put their hands to it.
They're screaming at people, laughing at people for being white. It was very sad.
Well,
it is pretty funny being white.
Hello, good afternoon, Chief. Dr. Jordan Peterson will come out and speak after I do. And
let's not do that.
We're rallying for free speech, and we have some other companies.
Other people thought that the event was organized by straight white males who had bigoted opinions and just wanted to use freedom of speech as a shield for their ignorance. People on the other side did not understand the people who are disagreeing with the social justice left. We feel that, yeah, there is an issue of political correctness. It's not because I'm completely ignorant. It's because I'm trying to think about those things and trying to form an opinion about those things.
Again, the reason I'm defending freedom of speech is because that's how people with different opinions settle their opinions in a civil society. And if we lose that, we'll lose so much you can't imagine. it's as a consequence of free speech and the ability to speak that people can put their finger on problems, articulate what those problems are, solve them, and come to a consensus. And we risk losing that. Now, the radical left activists are trying to turn this into an argument about sexual politics. And it's only nominally about sexual politics. It's about language that's designed to control our freedom of expression.
My profound gratitude for what you do.
Thank you. Thank you. That's okay. I've got a platform. YouTube seems to be doing just fine. Yeah. So, and it's okay, this sort of thing, you know. There's no violence. As long as there's no violence, it's okay. And so we'll see how this plays out.
By anybody.
How am I disrespecting it?
By refusing to include this language, which is already in your vocabulary, into like a sentence just when addressing somebody. That's almost, well, it should be and it will be an act of hate. Like that is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Like that to me is you're denying somebody's identity, and that's fundamentally wrong.
Well, you're more than entitled to your opinion. I think that the pathway that you're pursuing to obtain the rights you want will kick back hard and not in the direction you want it to. So
I really don't believe that, because
yeah, I know.
I think you're behind. And
you might be right.
The progression here is moving way faster than you are, and like for you to be this far behind in these stages, behind is sad.
Helen Hansel was able to win any competition she took part in. She was known as the contest queen because she had won 7.
Sure. Who are you?
Ethan. I'm a student at UCS.
Hi, Ethan. How are you doing?
Good. You? I really respect what you're doing. Thanks.
No problem. Let's go upstairs. Yeah, I know. You think that's pretty funny? The intense part was the fight over the speakers. Yeah. And there was one guy there. There was one guy there who was that far from being violent.
Oh, really? On the other side? On your side?
Well,
on the right or the left?
Side.
On the right or the left? On the right?
You gotta be careful there, kid.
Okay, sorry.
The Canadian psychology professor is somebody people love or love to hate.
I think one of the hottest topics in the country today, Professor Peterson, and it's all because of you.
I've been doing specifically non-binary activism for about 4 years now, ever since that's mostly been like online, creating spaces, like resource collection, and creating education materials and making YouTube videos. My decision to not compromise my identity is very much a survival thing for me because of the level of like depression and mental health issues that were caused by me trying to exist as female.
We're here at the free speech counter protest to our Canadians Respect Us as Human Beings protest that we put on last week.
The Jordan Peterson thing was the first protest I'd ever like participated in, or participated in arranging rather.
You have no idea if I'm your enemy. You have no idea about me.
You won't use my pronouns, so I'm pretty sure you're my enemy, yes.
Yeah, well, I know you think that, but I don't believe that using your pronouns is going to do you any good in the long run. I think it'll do quite the contrary.
Is that your medical opinion?
Why? Is that your medical opinion? Like, you are aware that non-binary people are valid in the American Psychological Association.
Is that your opinion?
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
It's about non-binary pronouns.
No, it's not.
This was one of the speakers who spoke at the rally in support of Jordan Peterson that my friends were involved in disrupting.
Intersectional cultural Marxist ideas.
It shows the kinds of things that were being said at that and the reason why people thought it was important to counter-demonstrate that. It's really difficult to separate the thing with Jordan Peterson from the Trump election. Because when I first got into it, I thought it was a blip, and I thought it was just like, this is just some stupid thing that's happening, and people think that, people are getting overly confident because Trump's running for office. But once he loses, then things will just kind of go back to the way that they were before.
Donald Trump wins the presidency. The business tycoon and TV personality capping his improbable political journey with an astounding upset victory.
So the rallies happened in early October, and then Trump was elected in early November. And that really just, if Peterson was the spark, then the Trump election was like the fire that really like galvanized it. People who were on Peterson's side or whatever were like wearing MAGA hats and like saying all these kind of like Trumpist slogans. The groups of people who were supporting Peterson were going to be an ongoing political identity.